watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 10 on DCW 50. I'm Chris Flanagan. Susan Tran has a night off. All right, we made it to Friday night, the holiday weekend. It is here. Let's check in now with DC News Now Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. And Janessa, we got some storms heading our way.
Yeah, I have extended this DMV first warn day into your Saturday. And so if you haven't heard, we do have more storms back in the forecast going into your Saturday. It's a bad start to our extended weekend here, but we do finish well. We do have an approaching storm system that's already allowing all the clouds that you dealt with this afternoon. Also, I'm showing you this map because visibility is okay right now, but throughout the overnight into tomorrow morning, we are going to start to see dense fog develop in areas of northern Virginia extending into Winchester. DC, not so much, but really it's because dew points are still super high across the region. 73, you have a feels like temperature right now of about 80 degrees in most locations in Fairfax extending into Baltimore County. The front came through, but it kind of stalled out, and that's what gave us a good amount of severe weather last night. It backtracks now, and it's going to come through the region once again, and it's a double dose of what we saw last night. We'll look at the timing of those storms coming up.
All right, Janessa, we'll see you then. Meanwhile, last night's storms did a lot of damage across the DMV. Take a look here. This is in Stafford, Virginia on Spotted Tavern Road. You can see trees taking down power lines there. Roads closed as well. We saw so many branches just snapped in half right across the road, causing, all this traffic being diverted there. Officials say they're now working with VDOT to get everything cleaned up. Meanwhile, back in the district, DC Fire is saying a lightning strike caused a fire at this apartment building in Northwest last night. They say the lightning hit around an air conditioning unit up on the 5th floor. The fire was quickly brought under control and nobody was hurt. And we'll continue to track this weekend's holiday forecast. But you can always stay on top of the weather conditions by downloading our DC News Now app. That way you can get alerts from where you live sent right to your phone. You can also find details on our website. Just scan the QR code right here in the middle of your screen or go to dcnewsnow.com. Holiday weekend travel now in full swing. A live look at Reagan National here on the right side of your screen. The terminal near your left, of course. Millions of people expected to hit the roads and skies over the next several days. Our Mariel Carbone joining us live tonight from DCA. Looks pretty quiet right now, Mariel, but a lot of people anxious to get out of town.
Yeah, Chris, families just telling us they are so excited to get in that last vacation of the summer season. Looking at the flight board here at Reagan, there are quite a few delays here tonight. Not as bad as what we saw yesterday with all the cancellations because of the weather, but still some delays, as we mentioned. Still, families, they tell me they are just eager to get out and hoping for smooth sailing. As planes took flight at Reagan National Friday, long lines formed at drop-off, check-in, and TSA.
Well, if it was my husband in the driving, he was thinking we left a little later than we should have.
For mother and daughter Lisa Marie and Kayla Cheney, the holiday weekend is all about family.
We are going to South Carolina to visit my daughter, who's at the University of South Carolina. Her sister here is active duty and also in med school, so she hasn't seen her in a while, so it's going to be a little surprise.
The two, part of the 17 million people TSA expects to screen this Labor Day weekend, a nearly 8% increase in travelers from last year.
Airport's an airport. Try to give enough time to make it through and make sure we got less than 3 ounces in the bottles.
Joseph Pickner and Jen Paolo were jetting off to California, a hiking trip spanning the long weekend.
I got permits to hike or climb Half Dome, so we're going to Yosemite National Park.
Friday predicted to be the busiest day at the airport. And though a few hundred flights were canceled in the DMV due to weather Thursday,
the airplanes are on time. So
Martin B. heading to Miami says he's not worried about the travel rush. For him, all sights are set on soaking up the sun in Florida.
I have TSA pre-check, so I anticipate the lines to be flowing pretty quickly. If not, I'll just brave it.
Almost.
So at the airport right now tonight, pretty quiet, but if you are driving over this holiday weekend tonight, you should be in the clear, but tomorrow 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. that is the peak travel time. So if you're leaving during that, expect some traffic. Otherwise, you can plan accordingly to try and beat some of that. Reporting live from Reagan tonight, I'm Mariel Carbone, DC News Now.
Good advice there, Marielle. Thanks. Meanwhile, a warning now from Virginia State Police. This Labor Day weekend, troopers will be out in full force looking for drunk drivers. During last year's Labor Day holiday, state police arrested 73 people for drunk driving. 14 people died on Virginia roads. So from now until midnight Monday, VSP is joining other agencies for Operation Crash Awareness Reduction effort known as CARE. That's all in an effort to increase safety and decrease deaths on highways this weekend. While happening this weekend, 4 stations on the Red Line, they'll reopen Sunday after being shut down in June for repair. So Glenmont, Forest Glen, Wheaton, and Silver Spring, all those stations got replaced escalators, elevators, fixed track signs, and also sidewalks. This all happened during the construction of the Purple Line. They also received installed bus lanes, which will remain in place until the end of the year. And Metro Rail and Metro Bus will be operating on Sunday, Sunday schedule for Labor Day. Trains will be running every 6 to 12 minutes for most of the day. Now, for Metro Access customers, all subscription trips on Labor Day, they'll be canceled. However, those customers can still call to reserve a trip that day. Parking will also be free at all Metro garages and lots for the holiday. Well, developing now at 10, police spending hours this afternoon and evening searching a popular park in Manassas Park, Virginia. They were looking for evidence in the case of a missing mother. Police search Signal Hill Park, which is a little more than a mile or so from the home there of Naresh Bhatt and his wife Mamta that they share. That search wrapped up just a short time ago. Our Max Marcilla joining us live now from the police station. And Max, so far police really haven't released much information about this search.
That's right, Chris. We don't know what they found on the search. Honestly, we don't really know what they were looking for. We just know that they said they had a reason to be at the park. Mamta's husband has been charged, but the question on everyone's mind that we still don't know the answer to is, where is Mamta Kafli? Across the street from where loved ones and community members are cheering and praying for Mamta Kafli's return home, police are trying to make that happen. They blocked the entrance to Signal Hill Park for most of Friday afternoon, searching inside for evidence, including in this area. They say they had information that led them here.
I hope they found something there.
But both police and these community members have been searching for weeks now. Mamta was last seen about a month ago. There have been multiple searches at the Bhatt home, both before and after Mamta's husband Naresh was arrested and charged with concealing a dead body. But this search at this park is causing plenty of emotions.
It's pretty painful to even think. I don't know what they found. I don't know what they got.
This case has not only rallied the Nepalese community, but it's led to a conversation about domestic violence.
It's a very fragile conversation you can't share, and you feel not comfortable to share, but we must tell everyone to share it.
During Naresh's early court appearances, we've learned about the evidence police have gathered. Prosecutors say they found blood in the Bhatt home.
I think everybody wants the answer, like what really happened and where Mamta is.
But as police search the park, the main thing on everyone's mind is Mamta, bringing her home for closure and for justice.
She was very sweet, very nice, very polite.
Now, Mamta has a 1-year-old baby girl, and DC News now has learned that Mamta's mother and another family member from Nepal have come to the United States and are taking care of that 1-year-old, who, of course, is on everyone's mind. We mentioned Naresh, how he is facing those charges. His case was certified to a grand jury, and he'll be back in court in October. Reporting live in Manassas Park, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All right, so a lot of questions there, Max. Thanks. Meanwhile, all new tonight, DC first responders honoring fallen police officer Wayne David during a procession today. They escorted his body during a dignified transfer as it was taken to a funeral home in District Heights, Maryland. David died Wednesday night when the gun he was trying to grab from a storm drain went off. Meanwhile, there's still a $50,000 reward being offered for the arrest of the man suspected of tossing that gun into the storm drain. He was last seen here jumping on the back of a motorcycle on 295. Well, Adnan Syed's murder conviction still stands. Today, Maryland's highest court ordered a redo of the hearing that freed him. It's been 24 years since he was initially convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend in a case widely publicized on the hit podcast Serial. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live here now in studio. And Daniel, this portion of the case really centers on the rights of the victim's family.
Yeah, Chris, it does. Maryland Supreme Court said today the family of Hae Min Lee didn't receive adequate notice to attend the hearing in person, where a judge initially vacated Saeed's conviction. But the family's lawyer tells me it's about more than just that. Adnan Saeed spent more than 20 years in prison, convicted for the 1999 murder of his high school ex-girlfriend Hae Min Lee. Almost 2 years ago, a Baltimore judge vacated his conviction after prosecutors said they found flaws in the evidence.
There was no evidence presented in court, and no one, including the family of Hae Min Lee, had an opportunity to comment.
Friday, Maryland Supreme Court ruled that Hae Min Lee's brother, Young Lee, wasn't given reasonable notice of the hearing that freed Saeed. A 4-3 ruling upheld an appellate court decision that reinstated Saeed's conviction last year. Attorney David Sanford represents Hae Min Lee's family.
What we've been asking for is transparency in the system, a right to be heard, a meaningful participation in the process, and now we're going to get that.
Erica Suter, counsel for Saeed, said in a statement, quote, Adnan is innocent. This appeal was about the process for the vacator. It did not challenge the substance of the vacator. In a dissenting opinion, Justice Michelle Houghton argued the issue was moot because the underlying charges no longer exist, writing, quote, this case exists as a procedural zombie. It has been reanimated despite its expiration.
Maryland Supreme Court got it right. Crime victims in Maryland have a right to be treated with dignity and respect and sensitivity.
Now, Saeed will remain free as the case heads to a new lower court judge to consider whether his conviction should be tossed. That's expected to happen this fall. And in studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.